Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing Eat, Pray, Love by Carolyn Sparks. This is a paranormal romance and I like to refer to this type of cheesy romance novel as like reality TV for books. Um, or as I lovingly and affectionately call it, garbage TV, garbage books. Um, this book, I should add, is definitely not for younger readers. It has some sexual content in it. It's not like super graphic like erotica, but there are some scenes that younger readers probably shouldn't be privy to right now. Um this book it hits basically every cheesy trope that you expect in a novel. Even the cover is cheesy. You can't really see it because of the shininess, but you've got your kind of sexy guy in a weird sexy pose, and he has a badly photoshopped tattoo on his shoulder. Um, and like, I enjoyed reading it. There were some really funny parts. Like, I actually laughed out loud funny parts. And I recommend it, just for the simple fact that it was funny. And if a funny, cheesy, like kind of dramatic, kind of angsty, will they, won't they, they're probably gonna, like, why haven't they done it already, kind of romance and light read, it's worth it if that's what you're into. And like I said, occasionally I am. I gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads because it wasn't the greatest book I've ever read. It wasn't the worst book I've ever read. But it wasn't. I almost gave it 4 stars, but there was just something about it that I just couldn't quite give it 4 stars. I don't know. It's probably because I couldn't really take it seriously. That said, there were some parts of this book that I thought were really, really well thought out, and I found it very surprising. This book is actually part of a series. I think it's like number 9 in the series, but you don't have to read the other books. Like, I didn't realize this was part of a series of books until I went to put it on my Goodreads, and I noticed that it said number 9 on next to the title. Um, One of the things I really liked what they did with, or what she did with, was the it's got vampires and weres, and one of the main characters is a were-panther, and I think they did the were-cats really, really well. They briefly mentioned werewolves, but not a whole lot, so they don't discuss in this book like how werewolves shift and change and everything, but they do discuss and go into a lot of detail about the were-panthers, and apparently were-cats all end up having 9 lives like the myth about cats, and when they die, they come back more powerful. So they're kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of were animals, I guess. So the funny thing is that one of the first things that is required after they come back from the dead is sex. Mm. Apparently, when you come back from the dead, you wake up real horny. So there's that, and that's kind of interesting and fun. It leads to at one point there's a masturbation scene, and at another point there is a scene involving soap and oral sex that is just really weird. Um, but I think it's kind of cool what they did. Another interesting thing they did was that they have good and bad vampires. And so the good vampires are vampires that don't hurt humans and they drink this fake blood. And the leader, basically, of the good vampires is he was a scientist before he was turned, and he stayed a scientist after, and he runs this big company, and his company has developed all sorts of synthetic blood, and it comes in all sorts of flavors. There's like beer blood and soda blood and choco blood, and I thought it was kind of cute and interesting, and it kind of makes sense that if vampires were this sort of secret society in the world, that they would do things like that. Like the company masquerades as like a security company and a science and technological company. And it seems like a really good cover. And they use a lot of their revenue to um find ways to make it easier to be a vampire without being a cold-hearted killer. And they also roam the world taking out vampires that do kill. So those parts, they were really well done. Another fun thing that they did was the vampire scientists found a way for the male vampires to procreate with the female, or with female humans. Female vampires can't procreate, which is unfortunate. But one of the things with that I wish that she had discussed a little more was that there are some half vampire children, obviously, but they don't, and the half vampire children get like vampire like powers and attributes, but they didn't discuss like whether or not the half vampire children needed um blood. And I keep saying they, but it's just one author. Um and I believe she identifies as a woman, so I imagine her pronoun is probably she and her. It's just a habit I've kind of developed. But yeah, I enjoyed reading it. It was not a terrible book, and when I get in the mood again, I will probably seek out more books from this series because this lady, um, she she looks almost exactly like what I expect an author of this kind of book to look like. Let's see if I can get the glare off. No, there we go. Yeah, seeing the way she looks and then reading this book, I was like, yes, yes, that is exactly the person I expect to write a book like this. That, except for the comedy, that kind of surprised me, but in a good way. So, I recommend this, not highly recommend it, because it's not the type of book that I generally reach for, but if you like romance, especially cheesy romance, that kind of waxes erotic, um, you will like this book. Um, if you like my reviews and my other content, please like and subscribe, and follow me on all my social media down below. Have a nice day.